Have you ever noticed something strange? You keep attracting the same type of person, the exact one who triggers your deepest fear. You say you're done with emotional unavailability, yet somehow you fall for the one who can't truly show up. You swear you want honesty, yet you keep meeting people who hide, avoid, or disappear. You promise yourself peace, yet chaos feels weirdly familiar, almost comfortable. And here's the uncomfortable question most people never ask. What if this isn't bad luck? What if this is your shadow choosing for you? Because the truth is, we don't attract from our desires. We attract from our wounds. We attract from our unconscious. We attract from the parts of ourselves we've never looked at. The parts we've buried, denied, or pretended didn't exist. And those parts are far more powerful than your dating checklist. They are steering your relationships more than your logic, more than your belief in red flags, and definitely more than whatever you think you're ready for. So today, we're gonna peel something open. In this video, we'll unpack why your relationships mirror your fears, how your shadow decides who you're drawn to, why you mistake anxiety for chemistry, and how to break the emotional patterns you keep repeating, even when you swear you've learned the lesson. Because before we go deeper, you need to understand one thing. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are not aware of. And once you finally become aware, everything changes. Who you choose changes, who chooses you changes. And the part of you that used to chase pain, it finally stops calling it love. Let's begin. What if every trigger in your relationship isn't a sign that something is wrong with the other person, but a message from the parts of yourself you've been avoiding? This is where we begin. Carl Jung once wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Most people hear this and think it's poetic, but in relationships, it's literal. Because the truth is, people don't create your wounds. They reveal the ones you've been carrying. Think about it. The person who ignores you doesn't invent your fear of abandonment. They simply step on a wound that was already there. The partner who becomes distant doesn't create your anxiety. They activate the child inside you who once learned that love disappears without warning. Your brain is not searching for happiness. Your brain is searching for familiarity. If you grew up with silence, you will unconsciously gravitate towards someone emotionally cold. Not because it feels good, but because it feels known. If you grew up around control, you will mistake jealousy for passion and possessiveness for care. To the nervous system, chaos often feels like home. And this isn't just theory. Modern psychology in 2025 shows the same patterns Jung observed a century ago. Example, someone who grew up with a violent or unpredictable parent may find themselves drawn to a partner who feels protective. But that same protector slowly becomes controlling. And instead of leaving, the person stays, because their nervous system confuses domination with safety. Or someone with a deep fear of abandonment, often from divorce homes or inconsistent parenting, will repeatedly choose partners who are avoidant. Why? Because their shadow wants to replay the same story again and again, hoping unconsciously that this time the ending will be different. But it never is. The biggest mistake people make, they think they're unlucky. They think they're cursed with bad partners. They blame every ex without realizing the same pattern is showing up wearing different faces. Here's the hard truth, and also the liberating one. The people you meet are not random. They are mirrors reflecting the parts of you you have not healed. And once you see this, not intellectually, but emotionally, your entire relational world begins to shift. Triggers stop feeling like personal attacks. They start feeling like invitations, signs, messages, roadmaps, each one pointing you back to the shadow that has been steering your love life without your permission. But understanding the mirror is only the beginning, because once you see that your triggers come from within, the next question is inevitable. Why do we fall in love with the very traits we suppress in ourselves? And that leads us into the next layer, the strange magnetic pull of shadow attraction. Let's go there. If the mirror principle explains why people trigger you, shadow attraction explains why you're drawn to them in the first place. And here's the paradox. You don't fall in love with someone because they're right for you. You fall in love with the parts of yourself you've disowned. That's why confident people often attract manipulators. Why kind people attract takers. Why strong people attract the deeply broken. You're not choosing them consciously. Your shadow is choosing them for you. Shadow work teaches a simple but uncomfortable truth. You are magnetized to the qualities you repress in yourself. If you hate selfishness, you'll attract someone who is unapologetically selfish. Not because you want them, but because your shadow wants you to finally confront the part of you that never learned to take up space, set boundaries, or say no. If you suppress anger, telling yourself you are calm, reasonable, the mature one, your shadow will draw you towards someone who expresses rage for you. Someone who becomes the emotional volcano you never allow yourself to be. If you're always trying to save people, always playing the healer, the fixer, the rescuer, you will attract someone who desperately wants to be saved, but will never save themselves. Someone who becomes the embodiment of the wounded child inside you that still longs for rescue. This is where our explanation goes deeper than most videos you'll find online. Many creators stop at the surface. You attract what you fear. But that's only half the picture. The real truth is, you attract what you refuse to acknowledge inside yourself. Not your fear, your disowned identity. Let's take a real example. Imagine a woman who grew up being praised for being the nice girl. She never showed anger, never expressed needs, never asked for anything. Her entire identity was built on being the caregiver. As an adult, she becomes a magnet for deeply wounded partners. People who are unstable, chaotic, and emotionally hungry. They drain her, and she convinces herself she stayed out of love, compassion, empathy. But that's not the full story. What she's actually drawn to is her own unclaimed darkness. The part of her that is tired of being the responsible one. The part that wants to collapse, to be messy, to be cared for. She doesn't love the broken person in front of her. She loves the version of herself she has never allowed to exist. That's the essence of shadow attraction. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. Your attraction becomes less mysterious, less romanticized, and far more understandable. But if we attract the parts of ourselves we repress, then why does it hurt so much when these relationships fall apart? Why does shadow attraction feel so intoxicating, yet so destructive? To answer that, we need to look at the next layer, the difference between trauma bond and true intimacy. Let's go there. If shadow attraction explains why you're pulled towards certain people, trauma bonding explains why you stay, even when everything inside you knows you shouldn't. Because here's the truth, few people want to admit. If it hurts but you can't leave, it's rarely love. It's familiarity. A trauma bond isn't formed because someone is good for you. It's formed because your nervous system recognizes their behavior, the inconsistency, the unpredictability, the emotional roller coaster, as something it has lived through before. Your body calls it danger, your childhood calls it normal, and your adult self calls it chemistry. Modern neuroscience explains this better than any quote. When someone hot and cold finally gives you attention, your brain releases dopamine, the same reward chemical triggered by gambling. The risk, the chase, the unpredictability, all of it wires your nervous system to believe this is love. But it's not love. It's a loop, a repetition, a reenactment of an old emotional wound. Here's a simple example. You text someone 5 times, they ignore you, your anxiety spikes. But the moment they finally reply, even with something small, something meaningless, you feel relief. Your brain gives you a hit of dopamine, and you mistake that chemical release for passion. But what's really happening is this. Your nervous system is reliving the emotional dynamic of your childhood. The inconsistency, the longing, the waiting, the tiny crumbs of affection that feel massive only because they're rare. Most videos stop at saying toxic relationships feel addictive, but that doesn't help you understand why. This is where we go deeper. Trauma bond is a neurological imprint. Your body learned early on that love comes with fear, tension, or uncertainty. So as an adult, peace feels foreign and pain feels like home. And here's the biggest mistake people make. They think strong chemistry means destiny, soulmate, twin flame, some kind of cosmic connection. But sometimes intense chemistry isn't attraction. It's adrenaline. It's your fight or flight system lighting up. It's your body saying, "Healing, I've been here before." You're not drawn to the person. You're drawn to the pattern. And until you recognize that, you will keep confusing trauma familiarity with romantic chemistry. The lesson here is simple but profound. You're not addicted to them. You're addicted to the emotional cycle that once kept you safe. But once you see that pattern, the next question becomes, how do these patterns form in the first place? And why do we keep projecting our inner wounds onto the people we choose? To answer that, we need to explore the next layer, projection, the invisible lens your shadow uses to shape every relationship you enter. Let's go there. If trauma bonding explains why pain feels familiar, projection explains why you mistake that familiarity for destiny. Let's ask the uncomfortable question. Are you in love with them or with the fantasy your shadow created? Carl Jung wrote that we don't see people as they are. We see them through the lens of our own unconscious. We project our inner world onto them and then relate to our projection as if it were real. That's how ordinary people become saviors. That's how a simple compliment becomes a sign from the universe. That's how clear red flags get rewritten as, "They're just misunderstood," "They're different with me," or the classic, "I can fix them." Projection is powerful because it feels spiritual, romantic, and meaningful. But what it actually is your unmet needs wearing someone else's face. Let's break it down with real examples. If you were abandoned emotionally as a child, if your parent was distant, inconsistent, or unavailable, your shadow may idealize a partner who behaves exactly the same way. You call their coldness mysterious. You call their inconsistency space. You call their avoidance depth. But you're not seeing them. You're seeing the old wound that still hasn't healed. Or take someone who grew up craving validation. Never praised, never acknowledged, always trying to earn love. As an adult, they become magnetized to people who are busy, distracted, hard to reach. They pedestal these people not because they are special, but because winning their attention feels like winning love itself. And this is where most YouTube videos stay shallow. They say, "You're romanticizing red flags." But the deeper truth is psychological. You're not romanticizing them. You're romanticizing your childhood wounds. Your shadow builds a story around the person, a story where they finally give you what you never received. And instead of seeing the person clearly, you see a chance to rewrite your past. That's the real hook of projection. It's not about them. It's about the part of you that still longs for closure, healing, and recognition. But here's the lesson that sets you free. Love begins where projection ends. When you stop seeing people as characters in your old story and start seeing them as they are, your relationships shift from fantasy to reality, from reenactment to connection. And once you understand projection, there's one final layer that decides whether you keep repeating the same cycles or finally break free. Integration, turning your shadow from a saboteur into a guide. Let's explore how. If projection shows you the story you've been unconsciously reenacting, breaking the pattern is about writing a new one. Because here's the truth most people avoid. You don't heal by finding a better partner. You heal by becoming someone who chooses differently. Attraction isn't magic, it's memory. And if your inner world doesn't change, your outer relationships won't either. So let's make this practical, clear, grounded, and actionable. Rewrite your relationship blueprint. Every adult relationship is shaped by an invisible blueprint you learned in childhood. Ask yourself, what did I learn about love from my family? What behaviors did I normalize because I saw them growing up? What patterns do I keep repeating without realizing it? What do I call normal today that's actually trauma? For example, if conflict meant screaming in your home, then silence might feel like rejection. If love meant sacrifice, then receiving care might feel uncomfortable. You can't change what you don't name. Blueprint awareness is the beginning of freedom. Listen to your body, not just your feelings. Your emotions can lie, but your nervous system doesn't. Expansion in your chest? That's alignment. A sense of openness, groundedness, soft warmth. A tight stomach, shallow breathing, a sinking feeling? That's not chemistry. That's shadow activation. That's your body remembering an old wound. Your nervous system speaks a language. Learn it, and you'll never confuse chaos with connection again. Learn what healthy love actually looks like. This is crucial for the American audience who grew up on Hollywood romance and high-drama story arcs. Healthy love is not cinematic. It's steady, quiet, predictable in the best way. Real love doesn't create anxiety loops, doesn't require chasing, doesn't keep you guessing, doesn't feel like a battlefield. If someone makes you question your worth daily, that's not passion. That's dysregulation. Journal prompt. What qualities do I fear owning? The traits you hate most in others are often the traits you've suppressed in yourself. If you hate selfishness, are you allowed to have needs? If you hate anger, are you allowed to express your boundaries? If you hate emotional intensity, are you avoiding your own depth? Shadow work isn't about fixing anything. It's about reclaiming what you've abandoned. Choose stability, not familiarity. Familiarity is comforting. Stability is healing. And they are not the same. Familiarity says, this feels like home because I've felt it before. Stability says, this feels safe because I'm not losing myself to keep it. Breaking the cycle means choosing what heals you, not what repeats you. You don't end the cycle by choosing a new person. You end it by becoming someone the old pattern can't attach to. When your self-worth shifts, your taste shifts, your boundaries shift, your attractions shift, and suddenly, the people who once felt magnetic no longer match the frequency of the person you're becoming. And now that we've gone through the mirror, the shadow, the bonds, the projections, and the healing, there's one final truth that ties it all together. A truth about love, fear, and who you become when you stop running from yourself. Let's move to the outro. So maybe you've spent years believing you were unlucky in love, that something was wrong with you, that you were cursed with partners who couldn't choose you, couldn't love you, or couldn't stay. But here's the gentler truth. You were never being punished. You were being shown. Every person you felt drawn to, every heartbreak that cracked you open, every cycle you repeated again and again, they were not accidents. They were invitations. Invitations to look at the part of you that learned to call chaos love. Invitations to confront the traits you buried. Invitations to notice the blueprint you inherited but never questioned. No partner was random. Each one was a page in the diary your unconscious has been writing since childhood. A diary you finally have the courage to read. And when you stop chasing what's familiar, when you stop projecting old wounds onto new faces, when you finally reclaim the parts of yourself you once feared, your attraction shifts, your boundaries shift, your patterns shift, and suddenly, the universe doesn't need to repeat the lesson anymore, because now, you're ready to see. You don't attract what you deserve. You attract what your awareness allows. And when awareness expands, your entire relational world rearranges. Before you leave, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what relationship pattern are you finally ready to stop repeating? And if you want more Jungian psychology, shadow work, attachment healing, and content that goes deeper than cliches, subscribe. This channel is for those who choose depth over illusion and are brave enough to meet themselves.